I'd like to call to order the April 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board. Roll call.
Ullman.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Dearborn.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
Bruni.
Here.
All right, hopefully everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes from our March 25th meeting. I will entertain a motion to approve if no corrections or changes.
Second.
Point, Holman. Roll call.
Ullman.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
Bruni.
Yes.
All right, and if the staff can stand up to be sworn in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. All right, thank you so much. We will now move into our hearing agenda. Madam Clerk.
Agenda item 2025-18 is a appeal for Public Works, case number 2023-5087 for the citation 2023-10386.3 in the amount of $500 for the property located at 3698 Woodbridge Lane. Owner and respondent is Bayram El Ali. Officer Melanie Shai will present the case.
Afternoon. On August 28th of 2023, the Public Works Environmental Division received an email from the Code Compliance Division regarding a drainage complaint from the neighbor of 3698 Woodbridge. The complainant stated that her next-door neighbor installed concrete over their entire backyard and erected a fence, causing water to flood her backyard. Code Compliance stated there was no permit on file for the work. On 10/3/23, City Engineer Chad Doty requested the resident of 3698 Woodbridge submit a permit and include an engineered drawing to account for the additional concrete and drainage alterations. Planning and Zoning was asked to verify if the lot coverage exceeded the allowed amount without a drawing, but they were unable to until a plot plan was submitted. On 10/4/23, City Engineer Doty concluded the work was done without a permit, and according to Planning and Zoning, it appeared to exceed the allowable lot coverage. A notice of violation was issued for working without a permit and for the changes to drainage between the lots, and photos were taken. On 2/17/25, another complaint was received from the next door neighbor after heavy rains again caused her backyard to flood. City Engineer Doty and I went to the site to inspect for drainage and spoke with the complainant. She stated that whenever there is heavy rain, the water cannot drain off of her property the way the site was intended due to the resident at 3698 covering their rear lot with concrete along with a fence. An NOV was issued for altering stormwater flow without approval and for failure to obtain all required permits for the concrete work. On 3/28/25, I received an email from James Cook, who was the developer of the neighborhood Fieldstone Farms, informing me that the resident at 3698 Woodbridge was in the process of selling his property and did not want the new owner getting stuck with having to fix repairs or pay fines associated with the property. I spoke with Mr. Cook and informed him what we needed in order to get the drainage issue fixed, as well as the lot coverage into compliance. He stated he would get in touch with the listing agent and try to work on getting everything in compliance before closing. Mr. Cook called me later to tell me the agent was not interested in making sure the issue was taken care of. I then contacted the city attorney, who advised to issue a citation, which would then be attached to the parcel and would show up when the closing attorney conducted a title search. On 3/31/25, a citation was issued and sent by certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address for altering stormwater flow without approval and failure to obtain all required permits. On 4/3/25, I received notification from the Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board clerk that an appeal had been filed for the citation. On that date, I also received a message that someone from James Gomez Construction wanted to speak with me about the work that needed to be done at the property. I returned the call and explained a portion of concrete needed to be removed, as well as drainage improvements, so stormwater could not be impeded. I also stated I needed a revised plot plan showing the current lot coverage. He replied he would send me those later that day. I also received a call from Mr. Byram asking to meet on site to discuss what needed to be done to be in compliance. While meeting him on site, I informed him he would need to remove some of the concrete as well as install some type of trench in the concrete to allow the storm water to flow as it was designed across his property. He stated he would get me the information I needed and his contractor would be in touch. On 4/11, I reached out to Mr. Byram to check and see what progress had been made, as I had not heard from his contractor, nor had I received any site work permits. He stated he was waiting on James Gomez. On 4/15/25, I received an email with the plans for Fieldstone Farms, not a signed plot plan as requested. I informed the listing real estate agent I needed a signed plot plan from an engineer or a surveyor. On 4/21, I received a signed plot plan showing a suggested drainage improvement as well as the current lot coverage, which is 74.8%. I informed him a site work permit would need to be applied for, and during that process, an engineer would look at the suggested stormwater repair and lot coverage. So these are the aerial photos of the address, and as you can see how much concrete their lot covers, which is 74.8% according to the plot plan from the engineer that I received yesterday, and typical is 70%. So anything over 70 is not allowed. These photos were submitted by the next door neighbor who originally filed a complaint, and this was after the rain that we received on April the 3rd of 2025. So you can see between the houses where the water stands and then floods across into her yard, and that is her foot right there on the right. So it's about ankle deep between the two houses. These photos were taken today, so the property remains in violation for failure to obtain permits and altering stormwater flow without an approval, and the case has been open 604 days.
Mr. Ali is in the back.
Mr. Ali is here.
Ali, would you like to speak? Yeah. All right, if you'll come up so I can swear you in. Yes, sir.
How are you?
Doing good. I'll swear.
Funny, you should tell them about fence too. There is, I call somebody, they put new fence, Melanie saw, and she said, because of fence, water don't come to my way. You should tell that too, Melanie.
The fence.
So what you want me, no, what you want me to do with the fence?
Mr. Ali, let me swear you in first. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and
Of
nothing but the
course.
truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Yes. This is not my fault. I did concrete. I didn't know I need to do 180% max. I call somebody like a company. I ask them, can you guys do concrete? They say yes. I didn't know I need permit or something like that. And I did that, and now I got problem. Still, that her water, my neighbor water, still goes. You remember that you was there that day? It was rain much.
Yes.
You see that rain? Still rain goes in my way. It's nothing go to the her house, because between her and me there is little bit like not bump, like a hole. Of course, when it's too much rain, it stay water a little bit. After rain, 30 minutes, water sucks in, no water. But if you guys think I'm wrong, okay, no problem. I call already engineer, they come look at it. They're gonna do drain on the side, the wind meter engineering. On the side between me and her, pipe to my front driveway, and they say it's nothing wrong. I don't know, they told me like that. Whatever, I need to fix it, that if it's problem, we're gonna fix it. Because I'm trying to sell a house, I have to fix it. Without that, with that problem, I don't think so I can sell my house. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying I'm not gonna fix it or something. If it's my fault, yes, I'm gonna fix it.
So is he allowed to just put in the drain, or?
Nearing, it was there 2 days ago. I got plans somewhere, I can show you.
Are we requesting that he removes the concrete, or can he do a drain?
He will need to do both. He will need to remove some of the concrete because it is over the allowable amount, and he will need to install some type of drain to allow the water to drain out. He has submitted a plot plan from an engineer with a drawing to install the drain, and it has to go through the permit process, so, for them to do work.
Yes, we're gonna do whatever they think I need to do, we're gonna, and here is Melanie, that engineer.
Yeah, I
So-
have it on, he
You
sent it to
got
me.
it? Okay.
Make a motion to uphold citation and fine in the amount of $100, or $500, sorry.
Second.
Point. Coleman. Roll call.
Bruni.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
So that means, so the citation and fine will still stand, and you still need to go ahead and make those adjustments as you guys have talked about, so. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Ready? For new business, we have agenda item 2025-19 for code compliance. This is an authorization request for a per-day fine citation for case number 2024-0513 for the property located at 1118 Fair Street. The property owner is Vulcan Investments LLC in care of Kelly Thomas. Officer McKenna Tabor will present the case.
This case was the result of a proactive inspection that was conducted on January 29th of 2024. During the initial inspection, the following violations were observed for roof damage, tires that were being stored outside, and accumulation of construction material. An NOV was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance inspection date of February 13, 2024. On February 14, 2024, the property was inspected and remained in violation. An attempt at contact was made with the property owner, Kelly Thomas. A voicemail was left requesting that he contact our office regarding the property. So on the picture, there used to be a tarp on the roof there, and it's come off in this picture. And you can also see all the accumulation of stuff out to the side of it. On February 20th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. The rear of the property was able to be observed during this time due to an inspection that was taking place at an adjacent property. On February 23rd and February 28th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. And on March 6th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. Contact was made with Mr. Thomas, and he was advised of the condition of the property, including concerns that there were homeless subjects on site. Mr. Thomas said he would go and look at the property that day. On March 15th, the property was inspected and remained in violation with no notable progress towards any kind of compliance. On March 20th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. Contact was made with Mr. Thomas, and we discussed the condition of the property again. Mr. Thomas said he would come by and remove the tires, and he stated that he had hired somebody to come remove the furniture from behind the house, but requested an extension for this to take place after March 25th. On March 27th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. Contact was again made with Mr. Thomas, and he was asked to have the property in total compliance for all the exterior violations by close of business day, April the 1st, 2024, as there had been no progress, apparent progress or effort made. On April 2nd, 2024, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner. The inspection date listed on the citation was April 12, 2024, and the following violations were added: for glazing, for broken, boarded, and missing windows, for damaged and missing siding, indoor furniture at an outdoor location, landscaping debris, scattered garbage, and tires that were being stored outdoors. There's that citation that was issued that day. You can see the exterior of the property. And all the furniture, the windows that were broken back there in the garbage. And so the brush that was still there that hadn't been moved. And the roof damage still remained. On 4/15, the property was inspected and remained in violation. No contact had been made by Mr. Thomas to our office during this time. The initial citation was still on the front door, and it appeared there had been additional items that were accumulated to the rear of the property. On April 16th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A second citation was issued and posted on the property. Shortly after, Mr. Thomas came to our office and requested to appeal the first citation that was issued on April 2nd, and he was informed that the time period for an appeal had lapsed. Mr. Thomas had an extensive conversation with Division Manager Shargaratsky about this case, and an agreement was made that since the citation issued this date had been written but not yet mailed, Mr. Thomas would be afforded 24 more hours to clean the exterior property up, and the citation issuance would be postponed. Mr. Thomas explained his intent to demolish the house and said he had applied for a demolition permit. Mr. Thomas was provided resources to bring the property into compliance, and it was reiterated to him that he had until the next day to have it completed or he would receive the citation. And that was when that citation was issued, but that was the one that we ended up not issuing that day. We went and took it down to give him time to get it into compliance, but that's what it looked like that day. Still, the roof damage, the siding damage, the broken windows. And then in the first picture on the left, there appears to be a subject that's sleeping on the couch, but he was gone when I came back to the second to take my pictures after I posted the citation. So I think that kind of showed Mr. Thomas that there really are people that were staying there. So on April 17th, Mr. Thomas communicated with our office and said he had reached out to a contractor to complete the work. Contact was made with the contractor, who was not aware of the extent of the violations, and he didn't think he'd be able to complete all the work necessary on that date, but felt confident that he could have it done by the next day, the 18th. Staff agreed to extend the timeline for compliance, given that there was a contractor that was slated to do the work, and all nuisance violations listed on the citation would need to be removed. On April 18th, the property was inspected, and the nuisance violations had been abated. Since Mr. Thomas had applied for a demolition permit, a decision was made to keep the case open and monitor the property until the permit had been approved and the demolition took place. On May 2nd, May 16th, and May 20th, 2024, the property was inspected and remained free of nuisance violations. The demolition permit was still in the application status, but had not yet been approved during these dates. On May 29th, the permit status was reviewed again and appeared to be delayed in approval through occupational licensing. Contact was made with Mr. Thomas that day, requesting that he contact their office to see what the reason was for delay. On June 10th, status of the permit was approved. Mr. Thomas was contacted to provide a timeline for moving forward with demolition. He advised he was busy with the homeless encampment at another property, and he was unsure of when he could get to this property. On July 2nd, the permit had been approved and on file for over 30 days with no work towards any demolition or any kind of tentative plans being relayed to us. Follow-up contact was made with Mr. Thomas, and he advised he had not received the demolition permit. It was then explained to him that he would have to go pick it up from the building division and then to get in contact with their office if he had any questions. On July 17th, Mr. Thomas was contacted, and he advised that there was an administrative issue he would have to resolve prior to receiving the permit. On August the 9th, he forwarded a photo of the copy of the demolition permit in hand. Follow-up to the property was made, and it was noted that the property remained in the same condition as it had been. On August 22nd, contact was attempted with Mr. Thomas again regarding the property, as there had been no communication from him. And on August 23rd, he responded stating he has already told us he had the permit. We explained to him that he had exceeded the time frame for demolition, and he stated that he was not aware of the time frame, and he was explaining the city ordinance reference, the demolition permit status and how that goes. On August 28th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. No communication had been received from Mr. Thomas, nor had any progress been made. While on site, there was an open unsecured window that was observed. Contact was made with Mr. Thomas advising him of it and requested that he come and secure the property. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner with the compliance date of September 9, 2024. And the following violations were added: for a dangerous building time period for a demolition permit that was requested and approved on January 23rd. Vacant structures and land, duty and maintenance of private property, and duty and maintenance of streets, sidewalks, drainage, and public ways. An appeal for this citation was filed, and this case was brought before the board at the September 24th hearing. And on that date, the citation and fines were upheld. And that's the date from the third citation being issued. Still all the brush in the roof, as well as all the broken windows. The furniture had been picked up, a lot of it, but some of it made its way back over there. And as you can see, some of the siding starting to fall off on the rear of it. And then there's one of the open windows that we asked him to come close. And there's all the boarded up windows inside the doors. On October 15th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. However, it was noted that on this date, the roof had been replaced. On November 5th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. Contact was attempted with Mr. Thomas requesting any updates, but there were no responses from him. On November 11, 2024, the property was inspected and remained in violation. However, there had been visible progress made. Contact was made with Mr. Thomas, and he advised that he was getting estimates for new siding. And if you'll go back, you can see the roof that was replaced, so they do have a new roof on there, but the rest of it, the siding still has the damage, missing paint, and then there's still trash to the rear of it. On December 6th, the property was inspected and remained in violation, and contact was made with Mr. Thomas, who said the siding had been ordered and they were waiting for it to come in. On January 7th, the property was inspected and remained in violation, but staff decided to allow more time for the siding to come in. On February 7th, the property was inspected and remained in violation, and contact was attempted with Mr. Thomas to request an update on the status of the siding, but no response was received. On March 14th, the property was inspected and remained in violation, and no contact or updates have been received from Mr. Thomas. He then advised that he had no luck finding matching siding, even though he had said that he ordered some. On March 28th, the property was inspected and remained in violation, and Mr. Thomas was advised that progress would need to be shown as soon as possible to avoid further citation, as the property had been in violation with no progress for several months. And on April the 1st, while conducting other inspections in the area, staff noted there were broken windows on this property, and a total property inspection was conducted where it was noted that multiple windows were broken, gutters had fallen off the house, in addition to siding that had completely fallen off the house, rendering it vulnerable to the elements. We reached out to Mr. Thomas to explain the findings and voice concerns of trespassing, and he said he would go follow up on the property the following day. So that's what I could see from Woodford. Those windows up at the top are broken. It's not really that great of a picture because I took it from Woodford, but there's one of the gutters that had fallen off, and then those windows on the other side that were also broken and missing at the top. At this point, all the siding's starting to fall off on multiple points of the house. So again, reached out to him on the 1st and asked that he come secure this and get it closed up. He didn't respond that day, but he did get back in touch with me on the 2nd and said that he had observed the areas of all the damaged siding and that he would make the repairs as soon as the weather was better. So we followed up on it today to get you all some pictures. As of today, it still is in violation for the demolition permit that was requested and approved, and the vacant structures and land as well as the siding, duty and maintenance of private property, the broken windows, and the scattered garbage. It's been open for 449 days. Still have the broken and boarded windows, and the trash is still, I'm not sure what that is. mold or something, I'm not sure. The broken windows are still open up at the top back there. He's not secured those or put any kind of boards over them. Not as much trash, but there's still some trash on the property. And then the siding's not been fixed, even though we've had some pretty good weather the last week. Reached out to him again and haven't heard from him. But this property continues to deteriorate, and he's not made any kind of progress towards it in the last several months.
So it began as proactive. Have there been any citizen complaints?
I think I've had a couple people complain. I couldn't tell you. I've had people that just drive by. There is a person that lives directly across the street. He's gotten out and talked to me a few times about it. I couldn't tell you his name, to be honest with you, but he's mentioned, and he's even considered saying he would like to buy that property, but he's not been able to see him or do anything with it, so it's kind of sat this way for a while.
I'll make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until compliance.
Second. Roll call?
Rooney.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Agenda item 2025-20 is for code compliance. This is a request for authorization to issue a per-day fine citation for case number 2024-6502 for the property located at 123 West 15th Avenue. The owner is Darwin and Sylvia Murray, and Officer McKenna Tabor will present the case.
This case was the result of a complaint-based inspection that was conducted on July 30th, 2024. During the inspection, the following violations were observed for junk, scrap, exterior use and storage of indoor furniture, scattered garbage, and an accumulation of rubbish and garbage. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with the compliance inspection date of August the 9th, 2024. Citations were issued on September 4th, 2024, September 25th, 2024, and October 8th, 2024. At the January Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board hearing, a request was approved for per-day fines for this property. And on February 3rd, Sharon, an occupant of the property, contacted staff and requested guidance on what to do to avoid citation. Staff discussed the extensive code violations with her and explained what would have to be done to be corrected to avoid the fine. She voiced understanding, reiterating that the violations we discussed were the same things that you've been telling us about for a while. On February 4th of this year, while conducting inspections in the area, staff observed smoke coming from the property. There were large piles of trash being burned. At the time, the fires were not a threat to the residents, and contact was made with the occupants with assistance from the Bowling Green Fire Department, where it was explained that it was unlawful to burn trash and the fires were extinguished. Sharon stated that she knew they weren't supposed to burn trash, but did not know what else to do with it. She was given options on how to properly dispose of the trash that day. And that was that date that we were there with the fire department. So just a lot of stuff going on over here. There's the different piles of trash that were burned, and you can see some of the firefighters that were there helping that day. And just that shed in the back has stayed secured from where we had to condemn it. And then they put tarps up over the garage. There's a lot of stuff in the garage, and there's several people that kind of come in and out of the garage throughout the day. On February the 12th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A per-day fine citation was issued and posted on the property and sent by first-class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. Contact was made with Sharon and other occupants during this time, and the violations and suggestions on how to correct them were further discussed, and a reminder to not burn trash was provided. Violations listed on the citation that date included junk and scrap, exterior use and storage of indoor furniture, scattered garbage, accumulation of rubbish and garbage, broken, boarded, missing windows, duty and maintenance of private property, streets, sidewalks, drainage, and public way, noxious substances and odors, staining or stagnant water, attractive nuisances, hoarding of materials, outdoor storage of tires, sanitation, improper disposal of garbage, and structures unfit for human occupancy and habitation. And these are the photos from the 12th, the day that per-day fine was issued. And that's Sharon, that's the lady that I've been speaking with. She doesn't own the property, but she lives there, and she's told me she's a caregiver for the owner that lives there, but I haven't spoken with the owner in a while. She doesn't come outside or answer the phone when I try to make contact with her. So it doesn't appear that they've been burning any more trash that I've been there, as of the 12th when I was there. But there's still just a lot of stuff going on over there. They did take the tarps down, on that date, but you can still see all the stuff they have in there. And then as of today, the property remains in violation, still has all the junk and scrap and the indoor furniture, all the garbage, the broken windows, lack of duty maintenance, the noxious substances and odors and standing water, attractive nuisance, hoarding of materials, the tires, sanitation, garbage, and then we have the structures unfit for human occupancy and habitation due to the garage that was condemned in the back of the property. So these were photos from today. It's kind of hard to tell, but that window is broken. We did go over and install some plexiglass behind it to try to keep the occupants from getting like rained in and people trying to break in more, but they've not repaired any of the windows since then. And then just all the trash. They did get some cans, it looks like, from Scott Waste, and today when I was over there, talked to them, they still seem to be confused about how to get rid of the trash, and I explained some options to them about what they should do to continue getting rid of it. But it still just seems to be a lot of people hanging out and a lot of trash that's gathered around the property. The property continues to be monitored and remains in violation and warrants complaints from neighbors in the Bowling Green Police Department. The 60-day period has elapsed and the property remains in violation. As of today, the property's been open this case has been open 266 days and the property remains in violation.
Discussion? All right, if not, I'll make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until in compliance.
Second.
Dearborn, Holman, roll call.
Rooney.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
LaPointe. Agenda item 2025-21 is for code compliance. This is a request for authorization to issue a per-day fine citation, case number 2024-0449 for the property located at 0 Small House Road. Owner is Angela Bryan, and Officer Heather Lashley will present the case.
Good evening. This case was the result of proactive roaming on January 25th, 2024. During the inspection on January 25th, the following violations were observed: glazing, protective treatment, accumulation of construction, demolition, or landscaping debris, trailers, and accumulation of rubbish or garbage. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on January 25th, 2024, with the compliance reinspection date of February 5th, 2024. The property was inspected on February 6, 2024, and I talked to the owner on site. She stated they would comply to remedy the violations and advised her I would return on February 12, 2024 to check on the removal of the trailer and the rubbish on the trailer. I advised her I would inspect the progress of the outbuilding on March 6, 2024 to give them additional time to correct it. On March 6, 2024, the property was reinspected and remained in violation. On March 12, 2024, the owner called and stated they should have the money they need soon and should start painting the outbuilding in about 2 weeks and had the plexiglass ready to install. On March 20th, April 3rd, April 17th, May 2nd, May 23rd, June 6th, June 25th, June 28th, and July 12th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. On July 24th, the owner texted and advised a tree fell on the outbuilding and she would be working with her insurance company to address it. On August 14th, August 28th, September 11th, September 20th, October 4th, October 18th, November 1st, November 20th, and December 3rd, the property was inspected and remained in violation. On December 3rd, I noticed the outbuilding had been painted somewhat, but still displayed chipping and peeling paint on areas of it. On December 13th, December 31st, and January 14th, 2025, the property was inspected and remained in violation. On January 29th, 2025, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued, and you see the first one I issued there and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was February 10th, 2025. The following violations were listed on the citation: glazing, protective treatment, duty of maintenance of private property, accumulation of construction, demolition, or landscape debris, accumulation of rubbish or garbage, scattered garbage, and tires. On February 11, 2025, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. On February 11, 2025, the owner texted and asked for an extension due to the recent inclement weather and due to the trailer being stuck. On February 18, 2025, the owner texted and asked for a second extension due to the weather. And there you see pictures of the outbuilding that I've mentioned, the trailer that had a bunch of rubbish and such on it, just trash and rubbish on the grounds. They attempted to paint the outbuilding over the cracked paint and the chipping paint, and you see it's still kind of in the same shape, just a different color. But a lot of broken windows on the outbuilding that you see there, tires, and then I think I even have some pictures of the fallen tree in there too. On February 27, 2025 and February 28, 2025, the property was inspected and remained in violation. On February 28, 2025, a citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was March 10, 2025. And on that second citation, glazing, again, the broken windows weren't repaired, protective treatment, duty of maintenance of private property, junk, scrap metal, accumulation of construction, demolition, or landscape debris, scattered garbage, accumulation of garbage, and tires. And just more pictures there of the ongoing issues that haven't been corrected. On March 12, 2025, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was March 24, 2025. You'll see the third citation issued there. And there should be some photos, still the broken windows, still the peeling and chipping paint. You'll see a junk TV there, some rubbish and garbage out on the grounds, tire tree down when that third citation was issued. So several things going on. Since then, they have done little things. They've picked up the tire, picked up some trash. I think they even removed the TV, but still the major things are still there. Although for weeks she told me they had glass ordered and, you know, glass was being mailed, whatever, the glass on the outbuilding still remains broken, several panes of it. You can just see buckets and stuff strewn around the tarp that's never been removed. So that's today. You'll still, like I said, see the broken window panes, the chipping, peeling paint on the outbuilding. So they've done little things. The tree's still down. They've not attempted to get that up, but they've done less, I guess, than more. So.
I'll make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until in compliance.
Second.
Dearborn, Lapointe. Roll call.
Rooney.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Agenda item 2025-22 is for code compliance. This is a request for authorization to issue a per-day fine citation. Case number 2024-9792 for the property located at 2521 Small House Road. Owner is Angela Bryan, and Officer Heather Lashley will present the case.
This is actually next door to the one I just talked about. This case was the result of a complaint on November 14th, 2024. During the inspection on November 18th, the following violations were observed: protective treatment, unlicensed inoperable motor vehicle, duty of maintenance of private property, junk scrap metal, accumulation of construction, demolition, or landscape debris, exterior use or storage of indoor furniture, parking in yards, and accumulation of rubbish or garbage. And you'll see here some of the, when I sent the notice of violation, did my initial inspection, these were some of the things going on here. Okay. A notice of violation was sent to the PV listed owner and address of November 18th, 2024, with the compliance reinspection date of November 25th, 2024. They had parking in yards going on, which I know James is very aware of over there too. Accumulation of garbage, indoor furniture, accumulation of construction debris, junk, scrap metal, inoperable vehicles. They have another outbuilding on the back of that property too that had chipping and peeling paint. Lots of things going on there. On November 26, 2024 and December 9th, 2024, the property was re-inspected and remained in violation. The columns on the front porch had been painted, however, the other violations still remained. I texted the owner and thanked her for painting the columns, and I encouraged her to remedy the remaining violations. She responded to the text and stated she was busy and she would call me later. On December 23, 2024 and January 7, 2025, the property was inspected and remained in violation. On January 29, 2025, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was February 10, 2025. The following violations were listed on the citation: protective treatment, unlicensed inoperable motor vehicle, duty of maintenance of private property, junk scrap metal, accumulation of construction, demolition or landscape debris, exterior use or storage of indoor furniture, and accumulation of rubbish or garbage. You'll see there, turns out that vehicle, she said, needed parts and just was not running. So not only was it parked in the yard, it was also inoperable too. So the truck that you see there, it was kind of being used for storage and such. So lots going on there too. They had a big pile of rubbish in the back, mattresses and so forth. That's again that outbuilding on the back of the property that's chipping, peeling, shutters, doors, anything you name it was kind of laying. They had an office chair, mattress underneath their deck on the back of the house. So several things going on. On February 11, 2025, the property was inspected and remained in violation. The owner texted on February 11th and February 19th and asked for an extension due to weather and the trailer they were using being stuck. I advised her I would be back to inspect on February 27, 2025. On February 27th, February 28th, the property was inspected and remained in violation. On February 28, 2025, a citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was March 10, 2025. On March 12, 2025, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance inspection date listed on the citation was March 24, 2025. So they did remove that SUV finally from the yard. They got the parts or whatever, but so that eliminated, and they got rid of that blue truck that you saw in the back. So that eliminated the in-ops. So the in-ops were finally gone, but a lot of the trash still remains. The furniture is still out there. They still need to paint that outbuilding in the back. So they still have several things going on over there too. And again, this is right next door to that empty lot with the other building that I talked about a few minutes ago. There's that third citation that was issued, and you'll see some of the pictures from that day too. The one vehicle still remains, but the one truck was gone, and just not a lot of progress on this one either. Tires, wood, several things going on. Some scrap metal back there stored by the building, some rubbish, cement blocks, brick, several things going on. And this is actually today. The case has been open for 158 days, and it still remains in violation. Furniture's still out there, that chair is still out back. Several things going on, still tires, junk, scrap metal, wood. They've actually added more cement blocks, I believe, so. Outbuilding still needs to be repaired. Shutters, doors, construction material still kind of laying around.
Any conversation? No, sir. All right. I'll go ahead and make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until in compliance.
Second.
Dearborn, Lapointe, roll call.
Rooney.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Madam Clerk?
Agenda item 2025-23 is for zoning compliance. Case number, this is a request for authorization to issue a per-day fine citation for the case number 2024-6660 for the property located at 625 Meadow Lawn Avenue. The owner is the Fuqua Family Holdings LLC, and Officer James Hetty will present the case.
Greetings. This started in December of 2023, and I've had numerous complaints. It's a landscape company that's operating in our neighborhood. And as you can see, my first inspections, I went out December the 4th, 2023, and like one of the neighbors said, the whole backyard was full of equipment. Brad, can you fast forward to the next one? End up issuing a notice of violation for the use, and while still addressing the use, they had, as you can see on that, they filled the backyard with large rock. So that was July the 11th and the 26th on that inspection. And as you'll see, March 17th, the rock is still there, and they still store equipment and different landscape company, sometimes a dually, a tandem axle, trailers, just different equipment there too. There's Eastland Church is right across from this property, and they park a lot of their equipment over in their church parking lot also. As you'll see there, that's March 27th and April 14th, and there's still landscaping equipment there. So, back in May, I gave the notice of violation. That was for the use. And in August, I gave the first citation for the use, and that's when I noticed the gravel. So I had a discussion with one of the property owners, and he said he'd take care of it and get it fixed up. In December, I issued the second citation and a notice of violation for that gravel in December, because verbally I had told him back in August when I gave that first citation. So I reinforced it in writing with that second notice of violation in December. And then this year, March, I received some more complaints, went out. Sure enough, they've got a big skid steer in there, and still using it for landscaping company. So they got the third citation for the use and the first citation for the gravel they haven't addressed. And therefore, I went out today, and it's still the same, out of compliance, both the use and the gravel. So as of today, April the 22nd, it's been open for 505 days.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until compliance.
Second.
Point Gonzalez. Roll call.
Rooney.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Do we have any comments or announcements? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second?
Lapointe, Holman, roll call.
Rooney.
Yes.
Dearborn.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
Adjourned.